Every market in Thailand has its own stories. Some are about the vendors who have worked there for generations. Some are about the old creaking buildings that have seen decades of commerce. And a few, the ones whispered in hushed tones, are about the things that walk between the stalls in the pre-dawn quiet. Among these chilling tales, one rarely mentioned and almost forgotten spirit lurks in the shadows of Bangkok's bustling marketplaces. It is a creature of deep regret and unfinished business. Known to the locals as the market skeleton ghost, for decades, vendors arriving before the sun rises have sworn they have seen it. They speak of a skeletal figure draped in the tattered remnants of old cloths, walking silently and methodically through the fresh market just moments before the city awakens. This ghost is not a violent entity, nor is it a malevolent demon seeking to cause harm. Instead, it is a sad, lingering presence forever bound to the place where its life came to an abrupt and tragic end. A chilling reminder that some duties are so deeply ingrained, not even death can bring them to a close. According to old Bangkok and Central Thai folklore, the market skeleton ghost is believed to be the lonely spirit of a merchant who died suddenly and unexpectedly within the market many years ago. The exact details of his death are lost to time, fragmented into various competing tales. Some say he collapsed under the immense weight of the goods he was carrying, his body giving out from a lifetime of hard labor. Others insist on a more tragic narrative, claiming he was cheated out of his life's savings by a trusted partner, died from a broken heart, or was even cursed by a rival, his soul tethered to his earthly possessions. A few whisper that he died with a profound sense of regret, haunted by unfinished business that he could not resolve in life. Because his death was so sudden and his spirit so troubled, he never fully crossed over. His soul, heavy with the burdens of his former life, could not leave the familiar surroundings of the market. Instead, it is said that he rises from his unseen grave just before sunrise, during that eerie, liminal hour when the market is silent, dim, and half awake. This is the time when the air is still and cool, when the only sounds are the distant hum of the sleeping city and the scurrying of rats in the darkness. It is in this profound quiet that people claim to hear the slow, dragging footsteps of the ghost and see a thin, spectral figure moving with purpose between the empty stalls, forever retracing the steps it took in life. Those who have witnessed this apparition describe the same unsettling details with unnerving consistency. They speak of a tall, impossibly thin, bony figure wrapped in old, dirty cloth that hangs from its frame like a shroud. The fabric is so worn and tattered that it barely conceals the form beneath. Its hands, they say, are as thin and brittle as dry twigs, and its head is perpetually tilted slightly downward, as if its gaze is fixed on the ground, forever searching for something it has lost. If you dare to look closely, in the dim, flickering light of a single bulb, or the first gray hint of dawn, you can allegedly see the unmistakable shape of a full human skeleton underneath the torn cloth. Witnesses are clear that the spirit does not run. It does not rush, and it does not make any sudden movements. It simply walks with a slow, deliberate gait, as if engaged in a somber, unending patrol of its former workplace. It moves with a silent grace that is both sorrowful and terrifying, a lonely sentinel forever doomed to search for something it can never find. A treasure, a person, or perhaps a piece that eluded it in its mortal existence. The sight of it is enough to freeze the blood, a skeletal echo of a life defined by commerce and toil. The ghost is known for one particularly chilling and unforgettable detail, a characteristic that separates it from other local spirits and has cemented its place in market lore. He speaks. Those few vendors who have been unfortunate enough to encounter him up close report a truly terrifying experience. The spirit approaches without a sound, materializing from the shadows as if from thin air. It then asks, in a low, hollow, and shaking voice that seems to crackle with ancient dust and sorrow, a single, haunting question. Or, in English, where is my stuff? The meaning behind this desperate query is a subject of much debate among those who believe in the legend. Some folklorists and vendors are convinced that he is literally searching for the physical goods he was meant to sell on the day he died, his spirit forever fixated on his final, unfinished transaction. Others believe his question is more symbolic, that he is not looking for merchandise, but for a person. Perhaps he is searching for the one who wronged him, the cheater, or the rival who caused his demise, hoping for a final confrontation. Or maybe, in a more tragic interpretation, he is looking for a loved one who never returned, someone he was waiting for at the market. Whatever the truth may be, witnesses all agree on one terrifying consequence of the encounter. They say that anyone who makes direct eye contact with the market skeleton ghost will faint immediately, collapsing on the spot as if their life force has been drained away in an instant. It's not an act of aggression, but a reaction to the sheer weight of its sorrow and otherworldly energy. Over the years, several stories have emerged from different markets, treated by many as true encounters with this sorrowful specter. One of the most famous tales involves a fish vendor, a woman who worked at a large market in the heart of Bangkok. She claimed that one morning, around 4 a.m., as she was setting up her stall and laying out ice, she heard the distinct sound of slow, dragging footsteps behind her. Annoyed, she turned around, expecting to see a fellow vendor or a delivery person. Instead, she was confronted by the sight of a tall skeleton wrapped in filthy, decomposing cloth standing right next to her table. Before she could scream, it leaned slightly forward and asked in that infamous, hollow voice, "Where is my stuff?" She remembered nothing after that, waking up hours later in a nearby hospital, diagnosed with shock. Another account comes from a night cleaner who worked in an old, sprawling market complex. He reported seeing a thin, stooped figure walking slowly among the empty, darkened stalls late one night. At first, he assumed it was a homeless person or perhaps a thief, and he raised his flashlight to investigate. But as the beam of light swept across the figure, he saw not flesh, but the unmistakable glint of bones through the holes in its torn fabric. The cleaner froze in terror, and in the blink of an eye, the figure vanished into the shadows before his flashlight could fully illuminate it. Perhaps one of the most persistent stories is that of a vegetable seller, an elderly woman who swore that every year during the ghost month, her stall would be inexplicably rearranged overnight. She would arrive in the morning to find her meticulously stacked baskets of garlic and onions shifted, chilies moved to different containers, and bags of produce disturbed, as if someone had been rummaging through them in a frantic hurry. She was convinced it was the market skeleton ghost desperately searching her stall for its lost belongings. His annual search growing more desperate during the time when the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. Folklorists who have studied these tales believe that the market skeleton ghost is more than just a scary story. They see it as a powerful allegory, a manifestation of the collective anxieties and experiences of the working class. This ghost, they argue, represents the souls of all the hardworking people who have died with their duties unfinished, their minds still tethered to their labor. Markets, after all, are places filled with the energy, sweat, and stories of countless individuals who toiled from dawn until dusk, some of whom never got the chance to rest, even in death. The market skeleton ghost is a poignant and sorrowful reminder that for some spirits, the work continues long after their bodies are gone. So, the next time you find yourself visiting a traditional Thai fish market at the crack of dawn, when the air is still and the crowds have yet to arrive, take a moment to listen. Listen past the sounds of early preparations, the chopping of vegetables, and the calling of vendors. If you hear the faint, unnerving sound of slow, dragging footsteps echoing from an empty aisle, or if you catch a glimpse of a tall, thin figure wrapped in old cloths drifting silently between the stalls, you might just be standing near the market skeleton ghost. Just be sure, for your own sake, that you do not look directly into its hollow, searching eyes. Because if the old legends are true, and it turns its sorrowful gaze upon you, you won't stay standing for long.